Remember, folks, we had the one and only Tom Nash on the channel just a couple of weeks ago. And he talked about the fact that Palantir could fall, could collapse, crash, whatever you want to call it, 50%. Apparently yesterday, Palantir had a rough day, and it continues this morning. If the news is right, it is because of a couple of things that happened. One is the defense Secretary of Defense is proposing an 8% cut to defense spending annually for the next 5 years, which is quite significant when you compound that. And Alex Karp, the CEO, has updated documents giving him permission to sell 10 million shares in the next 6 months. Again, folks, remember, Palantir or Tom Nash talks about doing your homework. He told you to take some chips off the table if you were up big. But again, nothing goes to the moon. So just remember that going forward. Lots of other things to talk about today. We've got Fed speak. We got some government layoffs. We have some behavior changes in the steel market. Why don't we go to the Fed first? First, we'll talk about the Fed minutes. Remember, we get the Fed minutes 6 weeks after the Fed meeting. Basically, summarizing the meeting, really kind of two things to take away. One was very much a wait and see until there is something to see. Right? They're going to wait for the data. And let's obviously remember the data since then has been, to the upside. There was talk of potentially slowing balance sheet reductions as they go through debt ceiling resolution. And the last thing I wrote down was inflation risk is skewed to the upside. This is obviously in reference to potential tariff risk and the like. On top of that, we had Goolsbee, Jefferson Bostic out talking. Goolsbee says, once inflation falls, rates can fall more. Thank you very much. Thank you for that astute observation. So again, we would be waiting for inflation to fall first. Jefferson, the path back to 2% inflation could be bumpy. Next, household balance sheets appear in good shape. Last, Fed President Bostic, we're going to let the data guide us. Everything is on the table at every meeting. What I take by that one is, yes, rate increases are possible. Lots of people believe that the next move will be lower, but I think what Bostic is saying is, hey, it could be higher. Businesses are concerned that customers are tapped out. The question now is whether the January CPI was a bump in the road, like last year, or do we have a new trend forming? I don't know if you saw this, but it was announced that the IRS may begin layoffs this week, today or tomorrow, potentially impacting up to 6,000 employees. This was reported by the New York Times. Again, the IRS potentially with 6,000 layoff notices. Again, the New York Times. We got some earnings from Walmart. They beat top line, beat bottom line, raised their annual dividend, but indicated that upcoming earnings could potentially be weaker, potentially much weaker, if the Canada and Mexico tariffs go into effect in a big way. Again, their bottom line would be affected because they wouldn't be able to pass on the full weight of the tariffs. They would have to eat margin so that the customers don't balk at purchasing. Wayfair missed on earnings but beat on revenue. And again, if you don't know what that means, revenue, think Wayfair is a furniture store. Revenue means how many couches they sold, total revenue. Earnings mean how much profit they made per couch, very simply said. However, their Q1 expected results next quarter is actually flat, which interestingly enough is better than expected. I want to congratulate Jared, again, one of the One Rental at a Time followers, somebody who runs a accountability group in school. He is out doing the work. He just sent me a note saying he got a Another disrespectful offer accepted. Again, this is not closed. We still have inspections and all of that. But I like to share these things with you because, again, a lot of you simply don't believe, and I don't understand, but I'll just keep giving you the truth. Jared found a property that was listed at $550, and after several negotiations, got it all the way down to $460. $460, a $90,000 savings. We did get our weekly unemployment claims. Again, this comes to us every Thursday morning. Last week was 213, expected to be slightly higher to 215. Came in actually at 219, so slightly worse than expected. But really, folks, anything in the low 200s is not a concern. It is where we have built a solid base for the better part of 6 to 9 months. Continuing claims did continue to tick up. This is my concern. Last week was 1.85 million. This week was, I'll round it a tenth to 1.87 million. Again, I think 2025 is going to be about duration risk on unemployment, not necessarily the unemployment rate. Basically, if you lose a job, it's harder to find one. That is what I think 2025 will be. Looks like there is a U.S. steelmaker that says, you know what, because of all this tariffs on steel, we might actually increase the use of U.S. plants. Hello? That's like the idea. Shocking, crazy, but that is the idea. So again, pretty interesting to see. I do want to shout out Vinny. Vinny bought my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, yesterday. I did go ahead and give him a bonus of the 10-week boot camp, which was $1,000, just to say thank you. Yes, folks, I do have a course. It's really paint by numbers. How do you learn about or create a buy box, calculate yield, all of that stuff. I never talk about it. What I am passionate about is the school community and carrying everybody forward and building that almost family atmosphere. But if you are ready to do the work and you are comfortable with paint by numbers, my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, is for you. Next up, I don't know if you guys saw it, but we had the one and only Cody Davis. Cody Davis back on yesterday. In that conversation with Cody Davis, he talked about how a high school civics teacher on the last day of his senior year changed his life. Cody Davis talked about how his civics teacher on the last day of senior year would talk to the students about how to earn financial freedom, how to get rich. And this civics teacher happened to be an attorney by training. And really, I'm not going to steal the full thunder of Cody's story because it is amazing. And if you have teenagers, if you have kids in college, you need to follow Cody Davis. Again, Cody is now part of our millionaire panels. He will be at the next year's ORAT event in Vegas. I confirmed that with him in the video. So again, Cody Davis. Two things that I took away. One, Cody had a buddy who had the same civics teacher the period before that went to the class. And Cody's friend said, don't bother. What the teacher did can't be done today. Folks, I want to remind you, that was 8 years ago. How many of you would have liked to buy real estate in the Seattle area 8 years ago? Seriously, come on. The best time to plant a tree is a decade ago. What's the next best one? Today. There's always this belief that it can't be done. What was done before can't be done today, just done differently. It's always hard. The hard is different. You got to get creative. You got to believe. Again, how many of you would have liked to buy real estate 8 years ago? But this person said, no, it can't be done. Let's bail. Let's skip. Let's go. But Cody went. Next, Cody asked the guy one question. He said, do you make more money as an attorney or as a real estate investor? And the teacher, which I think his name is Mr. Davies, hopefully I'm getting that correct. It's if I got it wrong, it's not on purpose. The teacher, Mr. Davies, said, I make a lot more being a real estate investor than an attorney. And that is all that Cody needed. That is all an 18-year-old Cody needed, and it set him on a new path. So again, if you have someone in high school, you have somebody young, watch that video. Shoot, if you need a reminder of what is possible, do yourself a favor and watch the interview with Cody. And again, Cody is on the Millionaire panel. We will be speaking with him each and every Monday. Looks like the government is slashing. They're even slashing government travel. According to United Airlines, government travel has fallen off a cliff since inauguration. Apparently, according to United Airlines, government travel used to make up 2% of their yearly revenue. And again, it has fallen off a cliff. And then lastly, shout out Frank Old Guy REI with another accountability group. They talked about the ORAD event. They talked about mindset shifts that occurred during the event. And they did a deep dive into population statistics at city and state levels. Guys, we are doing amazing things in school. It's 67 pennies a day. I don't know why you're not in there. It is built for you. We are trying to take the goodness that was captured at the ORAD event in Vegas and give you these little drips daily, weekly, monthly, so that we can keep the positive momentum going. It's a safe place to ask questions. It's a safe place to share. It is the happiest place on the internet, especially if you want to get started or go to the next level. I hope to see you there. Again, sign up for school, SKOOL. Just look for One Rental at a Time. And I hope you have an amazing day. Take care later. Peace.